Hey there, welcome to another episode of Nerds with Badges. This has been an Avatar weekend for me. I've been reading I finally got myself motivated to start tackling my backlog of comic books because I have so many on this Kindle. But I finally got around to seeing the Avatar movie, the new one, Fire and Ash. And I even went back to start playing the Avatar video game that came out a few years ago because I got so hyped up about it. It's the same thing that happened to me when I saw, um, was it, oh my God, my brain, when I saw Pacific Rim. Sometimes when you see a movie and there's a video game attached, I know that the video game for Fallout has gotten a resurgence in popularity since the TV show started. So these things, they definitely have an effect on us. It's not a bad thing. I really need to finish the Avatar video game anyway, and they added a bunch of DLC just like they did with Cyberpunk. So I'm gonna be playing that game for a while. I think it's safe to say I'll be playing that game for a few years because I got so many other games. But anyway, I went to the Grove to see the Avatar. I'd been putting it off because the times that they had it showing was just so weird, and it was just really like, and when I talked to the cashier at the theater at the Grove, we were talking about how it seems like they're trying to force us to do 3D because like there are more 3D showings than they are regular showings. There might be like two showings for regular the regular format, and then like all the other showings are 3D. So it's like I either go like in the mid afternoon when I'm gonna be sleeping because of my work schedule, or you know close to later, close to the time when I would have to start getting ready for work. It's a long movie. It's 3 hours and 17 minutes long. I guess I don't know how they do that. I don't know if they add the trailers because there were a lot of trailers. I didn't get there in time to see the Marvel trailers. I guess they've been doing that. I heard that they the only way you can see the trailers or the teasers for the Avengers stuff is it's all like four trailers, I guess, and they're gonna be aired during Avatar. And I don't know. I'm excited about the trailers. I think all of them are online now, if I'm not mistaken. Well, at least a few of them. There's a Captain America one. I guess there's the Avengers. So I guess they have it in the theater, and then eventually it comes to YouTube or whatever. So I went back like a week ago, and I started an Avatar marathon just to catch me up on the story and everything. I've seen all the Avatar movies in the theater. First movie I saw, loved it. I remember uh, James Cameron was actually at Comic Con years ago. I guess like 15 years ago when they first showed the first movie. Comic Con had an event, and I stood in line for a long time to see that. Also stood in line for the Twilight thing they were doing, but the Twilight, they filled up and they didn't have room for anybody else. So standing in line for 2 hours, and then like, oh, we can't let anyone else in. Sorry. But they showed they showed like a little the action scene where Jake he's in the Avatar body, and he runs into that creature that's chasing him through the forest, and he falls in the waterfall, and he ends up getting separated from the Sigourney Weaver and the rest of them. So I saw. I don't know if I saw any of it in 3D. I mean, I feel like there may have been parts of the movie in 3D. It was so long ago. I can vaguely remember, but I did go and see the movie, and I enjoyed it. I ended up buying it on home video, and the second movie, I I went to see that. I really loved it. I don't know why. I feel like I may have missed the first few minutes in the theater, and then I ended up like when I bought it on home video, I was able to watch the whole thing. Those movies are they're just like a perfect album, like Stevie Wonder or Babyface, you know, or Michael Jackson album. You know what I mean? It's like some albums. It's like you have to go through the whole thing. It is just like it's just perfect. Every song is perfect. The Avatar movies were just perfect. This movie, Fire and Ash, continued. It takes place. It picks up where the last movie left off at. I don't know how many years it was or months it was, but Jake, the human who's now, I guess, permanently, he's one of the Navi. Him and his family are still living with the water people, the water tribe, and Quaritch, uh, the bad guy from the first couple of movies. He's back again, but he's now a Navi character. Like that happened in the second movie. They put him in the body of a Navi, which is the very thing that he hates so much, and he's just so over the top as a bad guy. But I like his character. I don't know why. I guess there's gonna be some stuff happening with him. I don't think he's well. This is a spoiler. This is a spoiler review. So if you don't want to hear everything about the movie, you can tune out right now. Um, but you're gonna have a lot of emotions in this movie, a lot of ups and downs. Like there'll be parts where you'll cheer. Well, at least I did. There are emotional parts that might make some people cry. Because in the last movie, um, Zoe Zalanda, one of the kids, she really, I mean, it was just heartbreaking. She lost one of her kids in the second movie. And I was really shocked that they did that. And in this movie, there were like there were a lot of people that died. Some shocking deaths. Even the pregnant character. There was the lady, I guess the queen of the water people that they were living with. She was pregnant, and Zoe's character ended up having to um, assist in the birth of her baby. But yeah, the general, the captain, Quaritch is back, and he's obsessed to getting Jake because Jake killed all his, caused all the problems in the first movie, in the second movie. So because Jake realizes that they are always going to be like on the run, and it could be a danger for them staying with the water people, the water tribe, and because Spider not being able to breathe has become such an issue. Spider is a human child that has become adopted by the family, so they are going to take Spider to go and live with the humans because he can't breathe without the thing on his mouth. I'm a little confused. I always thought that the avatars could breathe human. They could breathe the human atmosphere, but the humans can't breathe the Navi atmosphere. But I don't know. Maybe they have trouble breathing. I'm still not a little clear. I'm still not a little quite clear on that how that works. Maybe they can take it for a long time. Anyway, maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like there might have been some parts where they were having trouble breathing. Maybe I'm thinking about the video game. Anyway, so Jake and his family, they all agree to take Spider to go live with the humans. So they go and they basically catch a ride with these like vendors that fly around these giant like jellyfish looking things with like these like zeppelins, like it's like a whole village of like flying people. They all floating, floating ships that are being towed by these like weird looking jellyfish creatures. And the fire tribe attacks like they always do. They're like pirates, I guess. They're just these savage people that basically have turned their backs on the planet goddess because they feel like Awa has turned her back on them. But they really become fascinated with weapons, which becomes a big problem because the queen of the fire tribe, the ash tribe or whatever you call them, they are really the major bad guys, I think, in this movie. Even though Quaritch, he ends up teaming up with them because he needs help from someone who's native to the planet that can kind of help them navigate. And so an uneasy alliance is forged with with Quaritch, the bad guy, and the fire people. Whew. So Sigourney Weaver's character, who's she's a little girl Navi, but she's like the Jean Grey. She can do all these incredible things. She can communicate with the animals and stuff, and make vines come out of the ground and wrap around you. Just some crazy shit. And then there's different storylines going on in this movie. There's a whale character kind of that helped them in the last movie, and he's an outcast, and he gets a story arc because he's still isolated and cast out by the elder giant whale creatures or whatever the hell they are supposed to be, and they have to be convinced to go to war, and because the humans are going to like basically wipe them all out and just mess up the environment as people do, and Jake has to get the other tribes together. There's a big fight scene towards the end, of course, and I gotta tell you, man, action heroes. Zoe, Jake's wife, she really has a wonderful arc. She has a wonderful story arc in this movie, and she becomes a badass. She becomes a certified badass in this movie. And Jake and Quaritch have some really good battle scenes with each other. I think that everybody got a chance to shine in this movie, but I was shocked that I guess they're gonna be more. I don't know if it's gonna be one more or if it's gonna be two more movies. I just hope that he doesn't take 13 years to do another movie, man. I mean, I generally will shy away from watching movies in 3D, but I actually have to recommend this movie is best seen in 3D. I sat like in the third or second row because I always try to sit where there's not going to be anybody bothering me, either walking past back and forth or smacking on food or checking their phone. I can't see none of that because I'm sitting in the front. So I kind of had to look up just a little bit, but the seats recline over in the Grove. If anybody lives in LA, if you live here, that's a good theater to go see it. It's expensive though. It's $25 to see this movie. But yeah, I would definitely recommend seeing it in 3D. I wish that my TV was 3D capable. I think that maybe become a thing. It may become a more common thing in the future. I think with TVs. But I would give this movie out of a 10. I would give it a 10. I would actually give it a 10. I have to say, I feel the same way about all the Avatar movies, though. There's a really cool story, beautiful scenery, just wonderful, and there's the action scenes are just incredible. I gotta say, when I first started watching the movie, it hits the ground running because the camera's moving everywhere, and I'm like, oh my god, because they're like flying on these dragon pterodactyl things, and it was like I did end up getting a slight headache afterwards. But it just kind of like went away. It wasn't as bad as I think. There's a reason I cannot wear sunglasses because they squeeze my temples and I end up getting a headache afterwards. But I don't know if they cleaned those damn glasses. Is one of my concerns. But I guess they cleaned them. But it was money well spent seeing it. I really enjoyed it, and I actually would not mind seeing it again. But I'm gonna, just probably end up waiting until the home video comes out. I don't really go to the movies that much. I mean, typically I will go to see like the superhero or action movies, or Lord of the Rings movies, Star Wars. But if they do more Avatar movies, I will see all of them in the theater. It's like I saw Titanic in the theater. I've seen the second Terminator in theaters. I feel like I see the second one too. I've seen the second Terminator and the third Terminator in theaters, but the other ones I watched on home video, I believe. But that he wasn't even involved with the other Terminators. I don't think. I think they went with different directors. But there's so many I can't even keep up. But yeah, and I'm glad they used James Horner. I'm glad they used his music because he, the theme, it's just like Star Wars. You got to have that theme, when you see Harry Potter, you got to have that in there. They use a lot of his music. Maybe they use some new stuff. This guy, James Horner, just the music, I could just listen to the music from all the Avatar movies because I love classical soundtracks. I collect them actually. And it was just perfect. It's a shame that he died, that James Horner died in a plane crash some years ago. But his theme that he created for Avatar It's like when you hear it, da, 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 you know it. It's just like when you hear Star Wars or Superman or Lord of the Rings. Um, it's very distinctive, and I'm glad that they kept this music. They didn't replace it with anything else. So, like I said, I would give this movie a 10. I really would highly recommend seeing it in 3D if you go see it. I know it's a bit expensive. If you can't afford it, then just see it standard, regular. But this is a type of movie that I think everybody should see on a big screen. And the message too. I know some people probably take issue with these. They feel like we're being beaten on the head with this stuff about environmental awareness. And I talked to a couple of my coworkers about. One of my coworkers was like, I don't want to go see Pocahontas. Just completely dismiss. And it's more. There is environmental stuff going on, and there are things that have happened throughout our history that you could definitely draw a comparison to, as far as how the invaders come. They want to steal the resources and treat the natives. It's a story as old as time itself, probably as old as long as humanity's been here. It's just, it's just kind of like, it's at Haiti that they basically kicked all the crazy people that were coming over there trying to do crazy stuff. They kicked them out. So that's like a perfect example of what seems to happen in every Avatar movie. And I don't mind it. I like the story. I like the characters, and I don't know what they're gonna do. But I've been reading these comic books, and the comic books that I've been reading, they focus on different Avatar characters. That some of the stories, these stories, they take place around somewhere between part two and part three. I think these stories take place, but they're on Kindle, on the Amazon Kindle app. So I got a gift card, so I need to take advantage of that and maybe just get the whole collection, because I only bought like 3 issues, but I read the first issue in like, I feel like I read it in like less than 10 minutes. I read really fast, and I forgive me if I sound a little stuffy. I was sick the last few days. I didn't go to work a couple of days. Now I'm basically back to normal. I just have like a slight headache and just feel kind of like lightheaded. But I just caught a cold, and my sister's here in town for a few days. She goes back to her and her husband and their daughter, and the baby too. They brought the baby with them. They're here to I guess they've enrolled in some workshop with my niece that is for helping kids get into the industry, acting, singing, and stuff, I guess. So they came over here yesterday, man. It scared the shit out of me. He was banging on my door like the police, and just woke me up, and I was feeling just feeling terrible. So I don't want to be around nobody. I remember when the big C was a thing, and seeing a little this was a commercial, I guess. Mel Brooks' son went to visit him, and he just like kind of like drove by the house and waved, and I maybe left something there for his father, like outside or something. It was just kind of funny when you can't, you don't want to be. You can give someone a cold, just by just by having a conversation with them. You don't realize it, but when you're talking, so I'm always mindful of that. But I don't know, maybe we can find a nice Korean restaurant to go to. That's what they want to do. I tried to recommend one, but apparently it's under construction, so I got to do some more research. Can believe I've lived in Koreatown for almost 28 years, and I know one really good Korean restaurant that's nearby. But anyway, getting back to the movie, like I said, it is 3 hours long. And I didn't realize the second movie was just as long, almost. Maybe not by a few 5 minutes or so, because I think I don't know how long the second one was. I feel like the second movie was maybe 2 hours and something, and I think the first movie was the first movie was like 2 hours and something. Maybe first movie was like 2 hours and 30 minutes maybe. The second movie may have been 3 hours and 12. and I think that this movie was maybe 3 hours and 17 minutes, but it goes by really fast because there's really like no boring parts, which is amazing. It's amazing that excuse me, that you can do, someone can do a movie, a long movie, and there not be like any like boring parts to me. I mean, in my opinion, that I am trying to think. I don't really sit down and watch very very long movies all at one time. Usually, I just watch a little bit, and I do that with regular movies. I watch a movie, a little bit of a movie, and then the next day, and then the next day. Even I even did that with the Justice League movie, but I want to do a complete sit down, the Snyder cut of the Justice League movie, which is 4 hours long. So, like I said, I would highly recommend going to see this movie and support this incredible experience. You know, these are, people say the movie industry going to the theaters is, maybe it's kind of going away, but just changing because everybody's got a big ass TV at home. But it's it's good to go. In certain movies, you definitely need to go and watch on the big screen, and it's just, things are changing now. Netflix is going to be buying Warner Brothers. Apparently, I guess it's going to happen, and they're saying that the movies are not going to be in theaters for long before they come to the platform, if they actually manage to pull it off, because there's some opposition to this thing. I tell you, one minute I hear it's a done deal, and then it's like there's some complications. So I'm gonna try to finish this Avatar video game so I can play the DLC and finish reading all the comic. I gotta finish reading all the comics. I feel like I've gotten my excitement for Avatar. It's just, it's come back again. But I did do a marathon, and I would suggest definitely do a marathon. Watch the first two movies before you go see the third movie, because there's so much. It's like you go a long time without playing some video games, and you kind of forget the controls, and you got to learn everything all over again. There's so many subplots and different things going on in these movies, especially this movie. But I don't know. I guess Quaritch is coming back. I guess he survived, because at the end of the movie, he just pretty much, you know, he just jumps and throws himself into, like, literally into the fire, and just kind of gives up. But we didn't see the body. We didn't, so I heard that he signed on to do 5 movies apparently. So I guess he survived again somehow. Maybe, unless they got his brain somewhere else and they're gonna put it in another body. That's what they did in the I guess in part 2. So yeah, that's crazy. And I gotta say, Sam Worthington has come a long way. He's come a long way as an actor. I really like him. I really like him as an actor. I think he did an excellent job. I mean, the voiceover work, and surprisingly, I was surprised that Spider the human became, such a big part of the story, because there's a struggle going on, because once he becomes Navi, the planet saves his life. Well, Sigourney Weaver, using the powers from the planet, is able to save Spider the human kid when he's like about to die from not being able to breathe the atmosphere, because his battery dies on his mask. So the humans, the Giovanni, he's like I guess he's the one that's financing everything, and they want Spider. The military, they want Spider, because now that he's become a Navi, they want to figure out how they can replicate the process, because his whole body, his cellular structure has been changed, and he can breathe the atmosphere, and he even develops a thing on the back of his head, his neck, that they can stick in these little tentacles on it or whatever, and they can connect with the animals or whatever. And I like the little sister too, the little sister, and I like the kids of the Water Tribe. They were really cool. It's kind of sad. Some of them didn't make it, but they didn't really. It felt like there was some characters that died, and some people don't even like seeing movies when kids die. But it was just like, it just kind of came out of nowhere, and it's never really. I don't think they really talk about it, which I thought was just kind of weird. Some of the characters that passed away, but I don't really have any gripes, anything to really nitpick about this movie. I think they did a great job. I enjoyed it. I really found myself cheering, getting emotional, getting angry at the fire people, and man, I just like, when the bad guy, you can't stand them, you just hate the bad guy so much, and when they finally get it, you're just like, yes, you know, it's like in a Disney film, the bad guy's gonna eventually get it, and it's gonna be bad. Well, bad for them. Anyway, that's my my nerds with badges episode, and I can't talk too much because of my cold thing, but I just wanted to check in, and I've been putting off doing this video for a while, but I finally got a chance to see the movie and to do a good to give a good review. So like I said, definitely go check it out. I think it's worth your time, and I will be back with more videos, and I've been promoting some of my comic book stuff also recently. I'll talk more about that, but I've been learning how to use AI. Oh, another adventure for me.